Jamie again from nationalnova.com. After further investigation on my floor, it looks like I'm going to have to do a little bit more than that little pan that I originally started the video series on. What I'm going to do now is actually put a whole half of the floor on the driver's side. It looks like I'm going to have to do the rear pan as well. As you can see, we found some issues once I got all the felt up off the floor. A few holes there, there's quite a bit of rust up there. If you look in the corner, you can see a few more holes. The other side, it's got some issues as well. And finally, up front, it's a little thin up there too. So like I said, I think we're just going to take out that whole half. There's a hole where we already cut out, but I think we're going to do this pan back here. And like I said, the front. This is the pan I got from Classic Industries. It's upside down, but that's the tag that's on it. You can see it says 68 to 74. Anyway, there's a few differences on this than my car. It looks like about right there. It's pretty flat at the top, and as you can see, it's got a couple extra brackets that mine don't have once I show you. But like I said, I think we're going to have most of it looks the same except right there. It's pretty flat. And let me show you what mine really looks like. As you can see, the one in this car goes up flat and back down, and I don't see that in that other pan. But like I said, I think we're going to have to just deal with that when we get there. Also, there's some brackets under the floor that I'm hoping will hold all the suspension on once we get this pan out. If not, we're going to have to do some bracing, but you know, learn as we go, I guess. First thing I'm going to do is just take this fuel line out of the way. If you see that piece of rubber hose right there, that's where it goes from the tank into the rail. I'm going to take that off. I'm probably going to cap the tank off so make sure no fumes get out of there. And then there's a few bolts that run along the frame rail. You can see one up there. And then there's, I think, two down the side and a little one that holds a clamp. And then there's another piece of hose. This is the other piece of hose I was talking about. It's up front. It basically disconnects where the subframe connects to the car. I'm going to take it loose there and at the back, and like I said, there's basically the hardware that comes out of it. Just a few screws and that one clamp I was telling you about. You can see here I have the gas line removed that basically goes under the rear floor pan. You can see it's got this tube here, or rubber hose, where it connects to, like I said, to the subframe. What you want to do is break that free, but have a bucket underneath it. Or in my case, I just took an empty gas can, let it fill up my gas can, and I stuck it back in another car, because you're going to get, like I said, I think I had 10 gallons that came out of that, so make sure you're aware of that before you pull that off. Again, there's the connection to that rubber hose I was showing you. So basically break it free right under the passenger door, and then, like I said, let it fill up your gas can. That way you don't waste all the gas on the floor. Alright, we probably need to start working on this pan before we do the front pan. So I think it's going to overlap this one, at least on the side that we're changing the pan out on, and this side will overlap the original floor. If you look real close, you can see there's just, I don't know, roughly a ½ inch past that bracket. So I guess what I'm going to do inside the car is mark behind the brackets that are still there And right up there, it's just a spot welded seam all the way across. So what I'm going to do is come down and cut on there just below that seam. That way we can try to separate the old pan from the old seam and just spot weld them back together. There's the brackets that are on that other plate. So we know for now we want to stay behind them. So I'm going to kind of make a guess here and just, like I said, we'll stay farther back from it. I'm just going to come back here to the flattest part. I think that'll be safe. There's a frame rail under here and another bracket. I know we're going to have to try to work around. Like right here, the suspension is mounted to that plate, so we might have to be careful when we go to cut this pan out. I think for now what I'm going to do is come down the side of the tunnel just to get this part out of the way so we can see. Go up here. Around there like that. I think that's what we're going to do. And hopefully that top line will leave enough lip to try to separate them two later. Yep, no turning back now. Like I said, there's a brace. I cut a hole where that raised part was just so I could see. Really, there's nothing there until about where that line is, right there. So we can cut up to there. Now there's the start of our hole. Got that brace right there. I think we'll use the air hammer on it, try to get it freed up.
Well, we got half of it out. Got to do a lot of cleaning up to do, but nothing horrible. Got a little bit of rust in that corner, so I'm going to have to probably fix that wheelhouse just a bit. Fix that in the corner where the spot weld's ripped open, but really the rest of it looks pretty good. Grind that down and be ready to weld back together. Just fix them few holes I knocked in there. Gonna do the same thing to the other side, and then we'll be ready to fit the pan. As you can see, I started cutting the pan out. Basically, I just followed the line from the other half we already did up around the wheelhouse. Like I said, I'm farther back than the pan, but you can see what I've done. But I started to cut right there, but I noticed there's two spot welds there, which tells me there's something under there, so I stopped. Don't look like I hurt what was under there, but what I'm going to do is try to drill those out and see if I can't finish cutting that piece off. If you see there, you can see what was under that bracket. Like I said, I didn't hurt it at all. So that's in that other part of the floor that's, like I said, it's a little different than that other one. For that, there's a bumper there in case you bottom out the suspension. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but I wanted to save it just in case. But I'm going to cut this out with this this cutoff wheel. I want to make sure I don't hit the brake lines that are under that part, so I'm not going to plunge very deep. I'm just going to skim the top. Plus there's another floor brace under there, so we definitely don't want to hit that.